Hey y'all, it's me again, Shakira G, back with another video. This is a 613 28-inch custom colored wig. If you would like to see how I styled and reapplied this wig, then stay tuned.
In my line, behind. I'll be so grateful to call her my wife. I'm giving her my funds cause I'm very nice. I'm giving her cause I just want to pipe.
First, what I do is put on my ball cap method. If you want to see my ball cap method, you can go to my 5x5 closure wig, the jet black wig that I did not too long ago, to see how I do my wig cap. So first I throw on my wig. This wig is a reapplication. The lace has already been cut, so I'm just showing you how I reapply my lace wig that's already been cut. Now the short pieces, the baby hairs were already set from last time, so what I'm doing is combing that back and making sure that I can see and have something to tie my elastic band on. So you see me just positioning my wig into the place where I want it to be. So now what I did was separate the baby hairs from the long hairs. So I combed the baby hairs forward and the long hair backward before I tied it down, because this will create the real flat and off scalp look.
Popping bottles, fine dining. You knew you wasn't getting any money. Why is you crying? Pulling up on me and we get to fighting.
Now what you'll see me do is spray between the fake scalp and the baby hairs to make sure that the hair is flattened and in place.
Keep a few Glocks in case we don't play. Your tone need a change. Take it to the face, run it up. We could run that fade. Play with the that I make. Whole time they saying A, in my future seeing fame. She got a big booty, can't contain. She's sitting on my lap on the private plane.
And by the way, I custom colored this wig a while back, and I just wanted to let that be known. And also, if you guys were wondering, this is a transparent lace. This is not an HD lace, but I just, do this so much that I learned how to finesse whatever lace I'm dealing with to look like scalp. I've also had this wig over a year. So once I go to take the elastic band off, I make sure that it's laid flat as possible before I really start doing my baby hairs. So what you see me doing is making sure that the wig is in the place that I want it to be. And then what I start doing is using the comb and a little bit of holding spray, not a whole lot to lift the wig up, but just enough so that I can kind of mold the baby hairs the way I want it to go. You don't want to spray too much at this point because you don't want to lift the lace back up and mess up the position of your wig. So what I'm doing right now is some exotic baby hairs. I've been feeling that lately, so I'm just going to go with that. So we're not worried about what's lifting up right now because we're going to apply the cap again. And what I'm using once again is my Enthroned Edges Edge Control. It works really well with holding spray, and I just love it. I wouldn't put it on lace glue because I believe or feel like it will lift the lace up. I wouldn't recommend that if I were you guys, but if you do want your edges to be laid and you're doing the holding spray method, it's something that you can try. Now, I'm going to tell you the God honest truth. Baby hairs take a hot minute. Baby hairs is not something that just happens in 5 minutes. Like, I was finessing this baby hair so long, I got kind of irritated. But I kept going because I know that I wanted to be laid and slayed, okay? So I just kept going. And what I was doing is basically holding the wig down as I position the baby hairs the way that I want them to go. I'm doing a full hairline of baby hairs. So at the top it was lifting a little bit, so that's why you see my other finger, one of my fingers is holding the lace down, and the next finger is basically trying to keep the lace in place because it will shift around a little bit if it's kind of wet. And I noticed at the top it was kind of wet, so I kept holding it and pressing it down as I create my swoops. Now I could have used the small hot comb like I did in my last video to make this even easier, but honestly, I wasn't thinking about it at the time, so I kind of forgot that I can do it. And then when I thought about it, it was almost too late. So I was just like, I'm just gonna go and continue on finessing. The enthroned edges that I use is an edge control that I use that's really, really good. It's the rub proof. It's really good for twisties and for your natural hair as well. It will lay your baby hairs like nothing else, y'all. It's one of the best edge controls that I've tried. But what you see me doing right now is just continuing the circle as I use my edge brush, which is my favorite little edge brush. I like this edge brush in particular because it has two sets of combs. It has a comb behind the baby brush, and then at the tip it has a spatula and a smaller tooth comb. I like it that I'm able to maneuver back and forth with it depending on what I need at the time, because the closer your bristles are together, the less separation you'll get in your baby hairs. So if you hate baby hairs because it's a lot of separation between the hairs, it's because you're using a comb that is too wide, or you're using whatever tool you're using is too wide. So if you get a closer brush that has, closer bristles, or if you get a comb that has closer bristles, it would be smoother and more cohesive, if you get what I'm saying. So this is what I'm doing, and yeah, this took a hot minute, man. When I tell you this took a minute for me, I was like, dang. But them baby hairs is everything. That's like basically the whole style for me. I have some non-baby hair looks coming up that I will be doing, but I am a baby hair girl, so it is what it is, y'all. So I use enthroned edges, and I made sure I was cutting off a little bit of excess lace from the last time, I guess. And just making sure everything looks right laid in the shade. So just continue watching until we get to the second portion. I'm just putting my elastic band back on to hold those baby hairs in place. Now, in the time that I was waiting for my edges to really set, I went and I used more holding spray on top of this second time that I laid it, because I really wanted it to stay and kind of just stay in place. I didn't want my baby hairs moving around. I can do fluffy baby hairs and everything, but I just prefer my baby hairs to be like that. And what I'm using right now, the product that I'm using is BioSilk. BioSilk, the coconut version of the BioSilk, is like a leave-in hair shine, but the original one is okay as well. I actually love the original one better than this product that I'm using, so I would say use the BioSilk. I will show you the bottle. Once I show you the bottle, just get the clear bottle like that. That one has like a little brown top. The regular BioSilk just has a regular top. It's all clear, and it's called, I think it's a polisher. So as I was waiting for this to happen, I went and holding sprayed my edges again. Not a third time, but this is the same time I was telling you about. And I smoothed my hair back at the same time. And I also came through with the hot comb as well. You see me still messing with them little baby edges, y'all. But it has to be laid in the shade. This is what makes these styles look the best, and this is what makes the hair on the closure or frontal lay flat. A lot of people, they don't like press the hair, they don't do the little extras to create this really flat and off the scalp look. So I'm just showing you how I create my styles. You can finesse it as much as you want, but this is basically what I do for my colored hair. And this is my colored hair brand. This is my Anointed Bundles Platinum brand. I've had this hair for, I told you, I think like a year or two. I'm not sure, but for sure a year. And I'm just smoothing it through so it'll be easy to finesse when it comes to the crimp part. Look at that flattening of that lace though. Did she disappear or nah? And this is a transparent lace. This lace is not HD, but HD or any type of lace doesn't matter to me. I can always finesse because I am the finesse of the year, okay? So I'm just showing you guys in slow-mo how wonderful this came out. I was just adding a little bit more of the foundation, but moving right along. There I am messing with the baby hairs a little bit more, using the hot comb. The hot comb wasn't really hot, guys. It was just like pretty much so warm because it was already flattened. I'm just extra'd out, y'all. I had to go in with the hot comb a little bit. So, and I went through the front with that, and now it's time for styling. So what I'm doing right now is parting out the section of where I want my two twisties to be. I didn't want this to be a plain Jane, and I started out, you know, saying that I was just going to do a side part and crimp it, but I was just like, nah, go hard or go home. I'm really feeling the twisties right now, so I'm just going to keep on going with the twisties for a while. If you guys want to see other methods of twisties, let me know, because I could do them all. I could do the double strand twist, I could do the regular twist. Like, the opportunities are endless. You guys are going to see a lot of styling with frontals and things because that's what I love to do. I specialize in closure and frontal installs of any kind. It doesn't matter if it's a weave or a wig. I can do it all. And I also make wigs. I also repair wigs. All things extensions and wigs. I'm your girl for the job. I'm located in California, Inglewood, California, from Bakersfield to Lancaster. It doesn't really matter. Anything that's within like 100-mile radius, I work in those areas. So if you want to get your hairstyle by me, just hit me up, DM me. All my information is in the description bar. And if you want your hairstyle and you're in town, I'm your girl. So once I get my hair parted and section out like how I want it, I get it prepared to do my twisties. So once I made sure that my part was nice and even, I went in with more enthroned edges to like lay down the flyaway and make sure that my part is really truly defined, because I'm really big on my parts being defined. This is a sped up video, but just know that this took much longer than what it looked like it took. It probably took me about an hour and 30 minutes to complete everything from the ball cap to the laying down and to doing the twisties and the crimps. You seen a little glimpse of my baby in the background. I'm gonna be having her on my channel as well because I'm gonna be doing her hair as well. I usually braid her hair. I don't really do anything else, but we have started to use my wonderful product, my beautiful product that works, and my beautiful baby in the background. But my product works really, really well to grow your hair back. If you stay consistent with it, you shall see hair growth. So those videos are to come in the near future, but right now we are working on these twisties. I use the enthroned edges all around the perimeter of the twisty to make sure that it's laid in the shade, because enthroned edges is just a business like that. It just is what it is. So once I got that going, it took me a while to finesse these twisties. I had a lot of stuff going on in the background. That's why it's good to just pay attention and keep on going and keep on thriving. I started to do that double knot. I've done double knots before, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna just keep the regular knot twisties going. So I was just you know, doing it, fixing it, making sure that there's no frizz, that there's the least frizz as possible. Finessing these twisties, and once we get to the other side, the other side was easier for me to do, and it was less tedious, but I'll show you on the other side how the twisty is supposed to lay. So now that I kind of got that how I wanted it to be, I went on to the other side. So what I did on the other side was the same thing, you know, everything's repetition. I put enthroned edges on both sides of this twisty, around the whole perimeter, so it could lay really flat and nice. And see, like, you know, a lot of people, they think that you don't want to do a lot to a frontal, but a frontal is very durable. Like, you could twist on it, you could do anything on it. You just got to make sure that it's flattened really nicely, you know. And don't be afraid to use product. Use product. For the holding spray, this will last because the holding spray is holding it down really, really well. Like I told you guys before, I don't really trust the enthroned edges right where you put your glue. So if you're using the glue method, you can still do these twisties. You just got to make sure that you're not putting it where the glue was. So what you see me doing is grabbing a piece each time, and I'm twisting tightly, but not too hard to where I'm ripping hairs out. So all I do is twist it, wrap it around, and add a piece of hair. Twist it, wrap it around, and add a piece of hair. The whole way you keep the twists and knots together is from the tightness of how you do it. You have to make sure that it's tight, but you do it to where you're not ripping hair out, but you make sure that the twisty is tight and secure. But the enthroned edges will help you with this process. This was me fixing the other side because it wasn't really symmetric and I wanted it to look good. So like I told you, I took one portion of it, I twisted it tight, as tight as I can get it without it being too tight. I wrap it around and I add a piece of hair from the base. I twist, wrap, and then I do it again. And I just keep going until I get the desired look that I'm going for. I always do my baby hairs first because in the past I tried to do the twisties or any style of braid on my frontal, and I realized that if you try to do the baby hairs last, that the baby hairs kind of look funny in my opinion. So for me doing the baby hairs first really helped. Then I was able to like lay it exactly how I wanted it to be. As you see me laying back, this is funny because I was just getting tired. My arms was hurting because your girl been working out, and I was just ready for that to be over. So that's me fixing everything, making sure that everything is decent. So, you know, I wasn't 100% happy with how my twisties came out because I knew I could do better, but at that point I was just like, it is what it is. It looks good enough. So I made sure that there weren't any flyaways and things, and made sure the enthroned edges was on point, and bam, off to the next part of the video, which is the crimping. So what you see me doing right here is sectioning out my parts. I'm making sure that my parts fit within the actual crimper. I make sure that I comb out the parts, and I use my smoothest silk blue spray. It's actually like a finishing spray. It is so wonderful. I love it because it's not stiff. My hair can still move, and it doesn't make my hair like crunchy, because I wasn't going for the crunchy look. I wanted it to be defined, but I didn't want it to be stiff. So I just used my blue smooth as silk holding spray, finishing spray. So what I did was just take a section of my hair, and I pressed the flat iron down about 4 seconds, and I kept doing that within the pattern. And it's like there's ridges from the crimps, but how I do it is I make sure that my crimper goes in the last ridge as I go down so it could be more defined. So that's how I created the crimp. But as we go to the top, once I get to the top, I will show you how I do the front pieces. So just stay tuned. So as I come to the front, I make sure that I use a little bit more of that firm hold, and I did my crimps with the iron backwards instead of forward, because for me it gives it more volume at the root when you use it, you know, towards the back. Once you flip it backwards, it actually makes the crimp look different as well. But as I was going, I made sure I used a good amount of the holding spray right at the top. Once again, I brushed it out, make sure it was smoothing all together, and I crimped it. You know what I just noticed? I did one side up and one side down, but I did both sides. I thought I did both sides with it flipped up. If you twist your crimper backwards, upside down, it actually makes the crimp have volume at the base. So you'll see the difference once I get to that side. That's probably why that side was a little bit different than the other side. But whichever side you like is the method that you use. Just continue to watch because it's all repetition, guys. Here's a tip. When you do crimps, make sure that the pieces that you're using are smaller than the crimper. Then you won't have issues with the crimps splitting. If you guys want a more thorough and more perfect looking crimp, just let me know and I'll show you. once again, here I am at the front. This is not really the front, this is like the back of the front. And I'm just doing the same thing like I told you that I did. I went into every ridge, making sure that every ridge was done properly. I used a good amount of holding spray to keep the crimp defined. This is where I did it backwards, but notice from one side to the other, when I flipped it backwards, it gave it more volume at the base, if you can see. Whichever side that you prefer the most, you go with. But if your hair is thin, you would want to do this method of flipping it upside down so it could appear fuller if you're going for a fuller look. But your stuff is, you know, not, I mean, your hair is not so full. So you see me coming back in trying to make it match, but I didn't realize that I did it backwards. So that was my bad. But I'm recrimping this piece, and pretty much so that's it, guys. If you like this video and you would like to see more videos on how I style my frontals, put on that notification bell, click that notification bell, and like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Make sure that you're keeping up with all these looks coming, because I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you with all these looks, though, serving body yaddy yaddy waves right now. And I love the style. It came out perfect. Just making sure that those edges is on point. One time for the one time, and here's the finished look. Thank you for making it to the end and watching my video, guys. I have so much heat for y'all this summer. Hot girl summer is in effect. There's so many things that I have in store for you, so just keep on watching, y'all. Have a blessed day or night.
Stuck to my line,
Bye-bye.
behind. I'll be so